Hello, my name is Herazim Gatica, and I will be presenting to you what it's like to be a Latino or a Latina here in America. I wanted to start off with Latinas and how they are raised here in the US. Marianismo is the cultural idea that women are subjugated to men and that they have to maintain a pure image. This hurts women so much because it forces them to comply to gender roles that can damage the true potential that is hidden within them. Parents can play an instrumental part in this as they can either enforce these gender roles or promote a healthier image to their daughters. Highly enculturated parents tend to send an image to girls that their virginity is sacred and should be protected till marriage. And they might do so by placing stricter rules to protect this. I wanted to really look at the picture in the corner that really connects to what I just said. It has little funny things around the frame, such as no sleepovers, who are you going with? They're so strict, so many rules, be home by 9. I find this very funny because it connects so much to what I heard in my home. And I'm pretty sure it connects to a lot of Latinas as things that they hear in their home as well. And this is just a way, and these are just examples too that show how parents put this type of ideology to their kids. Their child reading really forces and pushes a foundation of what they are seeing in their community towards their gender. Another thing that I wanted to also talk about with the concept of virginity in the Latino community is with the flower that I have provided in the top corner. This flower is from a scene in Jane the Virgin. The grandma is offering this flower to little Jane, and she tells her to hold the flower in her hand. She then tells her to crumble the flower in her hand, and she's very hesitant to do this, but she does it anyway. And then the grandma tells her, well, open up your palm and try to fix the flower. And she tries to, and she's looking at her with these puppy dog eyes, like, I can't, it's irreversible. And the grandma's telling her, well, you see, this is virginity. Virginity is something beautiful. It needs to be saved to a moment that is connected with your partner that is going to be there for you for the rest of your life. And so these symbols and really play a part in how we're raising women here in the US. And depending also too with the parents' acculturation as well. Cultural gender roles can be so oppressive for Latinas, but also hold some truth permanent and important to their ethnic identity. That's why many acculturated Latinas tend to create their own definition to fit better with them. And we also see this a lot through their sexual identity. Now that we have touched on Marianismo, we also have to touch on machismo. Machismo is the other side of the spectrum connected to men. This is the cultural idea that they are seen as the leaders of the house and show no emotion and elude the sense of hyper and exaggerated image of masculinity and sexuality. This stereotype really hurts men so much as they're not allowed to really convey images of beauty, gracefulness, and compassion, when in reality, they're so they're able to do this. Um, I think the best way to really uh, change this connotation is by redefining the name of machismo and really redefining those these words into something more positive and something more beautiful. For example, physical strength can be connected to inner strength, and sexual prowess can be connected to loyalty. And lastly, emotional detachment should be connected to selflessness. One prime artist that is really trying to break these gender roles in both the male and female community here for Latinos is Bad Bunny. Bad Bunny's music is reggaeton, and reggaeton is seen as this type of music that is connected to sex and it's connected to bad boy kind of feel. But Bad Bunny really uses that and tries to transform it to something else. He really tries to use his platform to talk about topics that are taboo in the Latino community, such as being in touch with your feminine energy. He does this a lot by painting his nails and wearing a skirt, wearing skirts to various talk show hosts. For example, to the one that is here in the very bottom, here in the Fallon Tonight, he was wearing this outfit. Um, he also has a song dedicated to respect women, and he's also not afraid to put in his lyrics and show the Latino community that sexuality should not be something that should be hidden, and we should not be afraid to be ourselves. One example of this uh, comes to the shirt that he's wearing in the Fallon Tonight. The shirt says "Mataron a Alexa, no un hombre con falda." This means this means a lot. This is coming from his country, Puerto Rico, where a woman was horrendously killed um, because she was different, because she was transgender, and he was trying to voice this to the Latino community that we need to break this stereotype, that we need to break these barriers that are not allowing other people to be themselves. And this is why Bad Bunny is so amazing as he's breaking these stereotypes, not only for men, but also for women. As we touch um, both Latina and Latino side of the spectrum, we also have to see another side of the spectrum that is super pertinent for the definition of other Latinos that are here too, and those are immigrants. Their journey of them coming here to America carries so much pain, and I can see this a lot through my dad, who finds it hard to articulate his experience of him crossing the border. I can see him hesitate to try to find the words and to really catch a breath because it's so emotionally triggering. And I think a lot of Latino immigrants can connect to his pain and his hardship and everything he had to leave behind just to offer a better dream for his family and for himself. Some of the acculturative stressors that my dad had to face here in America were the struggles of obtaining a job and learning the English language. It was hard for him to process this, and with determination and perseverance, he was able to accomplish this goal. He learned the English language by listening to the English radio, and he used his talent to excel in painting houses. Um, Another example of my dad's story that also connects with immigrant Latinos is biculturalism, as he was actively assimilating to the American culture by really trying to learn the English language and going past the fact that his accent was so heavy and going past that fear of talking to someone in English. I think that was a very beautiful blossoming of character that I was able to witness from my dad. Um, and I feel like other immigrants have also tried to do that, trying to assimilate to American culture. And another part of biculturalism that we need to see is that not only are immigrants assimilating, but they're also keeping part of their roots, part of their cultural identity, part of their cultural traditions, and things that make up them. For my dad, this can be by still hearing his own music, even though he also heard English music. Um, and and that's really cool. The last piece I want to touch is the immigrant paradox. This is defined by immigrants that they have the lower rate of mortality, they have better mental health, and are seen excelling in education. better than US born Latinos. Despite all of the struggles immigrant Latinos face, such as not having the resources to go find help, being scared to go to schools because of deportation, um, and still, and living in these poor neighborhoods that might have violent forces that can negatively reroute their children, they still manage to succeed. Their kids succeed in education. They still succeed by providing food on the table for their family. And imagine if more services were there to help them. They would have so much, they already have such a big amount of superpowers, and their arsenal would even be huge if they were offered these services to them. I also wanted to talk about mental health. This is so important to me as I have a personal connection to it, and I also have stories of my friends that have been impacted by this. And they also see the negative stigma that is behind this in the Latino community. I believe more light needs to be shed, not only for teens of different access and different ways they can go and get help, but also families. Families that are less acculturated might not see their stress or their hardships as something that is difficult to surpass. Um, and when more education is shed, I think everyone together can really grow from it. From parents understanding their struggles and seeing that, oh, wow, I can also get help for things that I'm afraid to go and or things that I'm struggling to control on my own, from their kids as well. And from their kids to know that they're not alone and that they have the family support to continue on forward. Another part that I wanted to talk about that is my favorite is Latino identity. Here in Latino identity, I wanted to talk about In the Heights and Hamilton. I think these both projects really talk about the struggle of ethnic identity. With the Heights, we hear a lot of music, a lot of flavor, a lot of accents. We see people of different races and different colors here. With Hamilton, we get the American dream. With Mana, who has succeeded beyond borders, honestly, we get a sense of Latino pride from his success. And his music also resonates so much to Latinos. I believe that one of his songs that he covered is so good to explain this, which is Somos Más Americanos. And then lastly, with Ariana Brown, who is a poet, she also unveils how hard it is to be a Latino and her experience with this through poetry. And I put a little quote here that really touches home to a lot of people. All right, I wanted to end with this beautiful picture here to really tell you that despite our differences, despite how we grew up to be, and the colors that we see, and the religions that we make up as Latinos, we're all together and united in Spanish. And even though our Spanish might be a little broken through generations and we pick up a couple hot dogs along the way our roots are rooted here, they were planted so strong by our ancestors. And thanks to them and to the experience that we're allowed to freely experience here in America, we're able to make up who we want to be as Latinos. And I think that's the true beauty of it all, that we're allowed to alter who we want to be. Um, and this is the note that I wanted to finalize. Thank you so much for this class. I learned so much about myself and about others. I learned more power I learned that more research needs to be done to really break the barriers that are hurting our community. And as we continue to grow, it is important to always be educated because different generations will have different types of problems. And this is why it's so important to know about this, to know about the diversity